Welcome to the Beyond Physio podcast, where we help you move, excel, and inspire others on your journey to your next level with knowledge and advice from experts and testimonials from our like-minded community. TK, it's been a pleasure getting to know you over the last couple of years as I've been relatively new to the Fleet Feet community. And having a coach like you who makes the workouts on Tuesday nights over at the Art Museum has made driving over there worth it. And listening to your antics going on about all this and that, but also just how you create the right vibe for the community at Fleet Feet has been a very cool thing to watch. Tell me how you got involved in running first. Well, I'm gonna go over there.
Well, growing up, I was always more of a sprinter. Growing up, so
100, 200 kind of guy?
100, 200,
So it's
400, yeah.
400. Oh, he hit a 400.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
400. But yeah, I love the 400, but back then, I don't know if it still happened, but they had the physical fitness test.
Yes, the presidential one?
Yeah. So you had to do, I mean, different, exercises you had to do. I know it was shuttle run, and the one item that I hated the most was the mile.
The mile.
I could do everything else, blow everything else out of the water. The mile, I have to redo it like 2 or 3 times.
No way.
So stamina or distance running was really not in my DNA.
Yeah.
Early on. That's something I kind of acquired.
Yeah.
Kind of later on in life, but I always was a runner, just not a distance runner for what I.
Wow, that's crazy. So what then led to that transition from sprinter to where you're now running marathons and half marathons, longer distance races?
Really just challenging myself.
Oh, yeah?
It was just one day, I think I'm running 5K. No training whatsoever, didn't know what type of shoes I needed to wear. I would just go out. Like, then I stayed at an apartment that had like a 2-mile lake.
Yeah. Oh.
And I would go out and try to run around that. Couldn't run more than half a mile without stopping. So I just kept at it, and it kind of grew from there.
Yeah.
Did a 5K, a couple 5Ks, I think, and then got talking to a half marathon at some point.
Someone's whispering into your ear that.
Yeah, I had a friend that was running. Like, we should do a half marathon. I'm like, I don't think so. Yeah. I finally did one, did a few of those, and then the marathon bug kind of creeped in. I wonder if I could do one of those. So it just kind of built from there and ballooned to what it is now.
That's a very common story. I remember when I got involved in triathlon many years ago. Maybe before you report. No, I'm not that much older. What I was addicted to, or challenged by, I should say first, was that I just didn't know what triathlon was.
Right.
I didn't know. I'd run like you, just shorter distances during high school, and so any exposure to endurance was like, oh no way, this is not for me. But after my first race, I mean, that just set things in stone for me. I was like, oh my God, this is my new thing. And so for about 20 years, I was racing mostly sprints, Olympic distance races. But it was very interesting how we get sort of pulled into these things in different ways, and the right kinds of voices talk to us.
Right.
And then we get into these different kind of endurance events, if you will.
Yeah, you get hooked. Too easy to get hooked.
Absolutely.
And especially to see type of endurance race and what it does to you physically, like your body.
Oh, yeah.
So
Definitely.
once you start seeing the results, so
feeling
you feel the results, and it's kind of easier to keep going.
Definitely. So, TK, how did you get involved with Fleet Feet to begin with?
I know a funny story. I actually knew no one at Fleet Feet.
Really?
I just, at one point, I think I showed up for one of their races, like a little relay race for hot chocolate or something.
Oh yeah, on Saturday.
I showed up with a friend. I was like, this is pretty cool. I noticed there's different groups of people that knew each other. I'm like, I don't know anybody. I was like, well, one day they're gonna know me. So, so from that point, I kind of knew someone that was in the program, and I reached out like, you guys look for any mentors?
Yeah.
And they did. And I kind of started off just mentoring a pace group.
Yeah.
And then it kind of ballooned to branching out to the PR squad and mentoring there, and then becoming the assistant coach, and then eventually taking over the lead of that.
Yeah. That's been awesome. And that was a relatively short journey for you, I think, because once you got into that community, you kind of just went up to basically become the coach you are now.
Right, yeah. Over a couple of years, I would say.
Now, at some point, you went from mentor to coach.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you decided that this could actually be a thing for you, and you got your certifications and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What made that transition happen? Did you actually coach someone along the way? You're like, I can actually see myself doing this.
I think it was just the PR squad, just the joy I got out of just watching, the runners get better. Kind of dig this. I think it when I get certified.
Yeah.
And be able to do a little thing on the side. So just got kind of ballooned up. Yeah.
That's really cool. So now that you've been coaching for several years now, TK, what are some things that, I guess for you as a coach, are the things that you want to really impact or influence the people that you're coaching? Because I feel like when I come to a group workout on a Tuesday night, that you just have everyone's attention, number one, and there's a lot of respect for you, of course, and whatnot. But what do you think is it about you that actually gets really really impacts the lives of the people that we run with on a Tuesday?
I would say just trying to instill like self-confidence in everybody. Just realizing everybody comes in at a different level. Some people may be fast already, some people may not be as fast. And then like calling somebody slow, I like to say you're not as fast.
Yeah.
But you're faster than somebody sitting on the couch.
Yes.
Type thing.
That's a good one. I like that.
So yeah, just instilling self-confidence in them, and
Yeah.
just, I don't really try to promise them like, okay, if you do this program, you're gonna get a PR. But I do promise them that they'll leave stronger than they came in.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're stronger, sometimes PRs come.
That's true.
Because you can't control everything that goes
For
on a
sure.
race, like weather, you're not gonna be able to control that.
Definitely not.
You
Yeah.
Eat something that doesn't agree with you the day
Oh.
before, you're not gonna control that. So
Yeah.
the things that you can control, you'll be ready for it, but the things you can't, you just have to roll the punches.
Yeah. Now, for people who might have been trained or coached by you, where maybe they had a bad race, and I think we all been there. I just went through it myself. What are some things that you how do you encourage those athletes to pick themselves up and, hey, there's another race around the corner? How do you kind of get them back on their feet?
I always look at the brighter side of things with every race. Even if the race you deem it as bad, you have to go back and look at it in seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it was bad, but how would this race have gone if you hadn't prepared the way you prepared? Could have been even worse. So just try to get them to look at the bright side of things, know that we all live to run another day, race another day. I've been through it. I've been through bad races, and of course you feel bad in that moment.
Yeah.
Then you have to look back and think about what you did to overcome, like all the work you put in. And there'll be another race that you can, around the corner that you can jump in and probably do better at.
Yeah.
But always look at the right side of things. You never want to harp on bad races, because there'll always be another race.
Yeah. And, I find too, like as an athlete, I think we beat ourselves up enough. I don't think we need a coach to also beat us up.
Right.
Right. Say, oh my God, you should have done this and this, whatever.
Right.
I think every race becomes a learning experience, and you just kind of get sort of like hard more notches on your belt, so to speak, and you learn from those races. You share those experiences with other runners too. As a coach, you've had your battle wounds as well, as you
Right.
said, and so that becomes sort of this sharing of experience and knowledge, which helps to drive the community, I think, in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Cool. So, TK, what was the worst race you ever had?
It's been so far my one and only DNF. Did not finish. I'll even say that it was Richmond.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Richmond probably about 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a full marathon. I always have my whole routine down.
Yeah.
I know what to eat on
Yeah.
the race day. The day before, I'm usually carb loading. It's
Yeah.
usually spaghetti of some sort.
Yeah.
We try to do it at not a chain restaurant most of the
Yeah.
time. Try to do like something local.
Mom and pop kind of place.
Yeah. So we found the local spot.
Yeah.
They made it pasta in-house. I'm like, all right, it's a good place.
That's great, yeah.
Awesome, we go, everything was good. I go home, go to sleep. I wake up in the morning, and it's just horrific.
No, my
It's just
gosh.
horrific.
Are you serious?
It was so bad. I was laying on the floor in the bathroom for a while.
I'm serious.
Yes. I got Gatorade. I'm like, I'm trained. I got at least trying to do it.
Yeah.
I'm drinking Gatorade. I'm drinking water. Get to the start line. Still drinking Gatorade. Still drinking water. And I head out. I get through 14 miles.
Oh, wow. Went that far.
14 miles. My body's like, that's it.
Oh, no.
Nothing left.
Oh, jeez.
So let's kind of sit down, and cop comes by. He's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Probably not." So got a nice little ride in an ambulance.
No.
I was very dehydrated. I just couldn't get enough to look like to me.
my
So
gosh.
the hospital, and I didn't know. You fill out the back of your bin with your contact information. And so
Yeah.
my wife was there.
Oh, my
My son was a newborn at that point.
Oh, my God.
So later on, she called and she's like, when she told, she's like, they called and all they said was the ambulance took you. They didn't tell me anything else, so she didn't know where I got hit.
Oh, you could have been like, oh my God, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, so I get to the hospital, there's no service whatsoever in the hospital, so I can't call out.
Oh, man.
So that time they called her and she called all my family. Which I
Really?
have family in
Yeah.
Virginia too. but nobody's gonna get in contact with me.
Oh,
I didn't have service.
So you could have been like dying in the hospital. Nobody would have known what's going on. Got a newborn and everything.
Yeah. So finally, they give me like the Wi-Fi password. I'm able to call out and let them know. Okay, I'm fine. Still, people come.
Yeah.
My wife comes and not funny part, but not really funny. While she's there, she goes to the back home and she gets sick.
Oh my God. That's terrible.
So they went and met her. She's like, no, I'm not staying. But that was by far the worst race I ever had. So at that moment, I was like, I got to come back and redeem myself.
Oh yeah.
So I came back the next year and ran and like PR for like 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh, man, you came with a vengeance then.
I couldn't let it end that way. So by far the worst race, the DNF, yes.
Oh, so let me share my worst race. It was my first and only half Ironman. And this is how bad it was that day. So, and I remember it so vividly because it's so traumatic. But we got there, it was in October, I think it was, and it was like 50 degrees or so. The day before it was nice, and then all of a sudden there's a nor'easter. Dropped down to like 36 degrees. All I had was like gloves and my freaking spandex outfit, right? I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna be bad. And it was sleeting then, right? So I'm like, this is not good. So they cut the swim out because the Delaware River was just going nuts, just in Poconos. And I'm going through my race, and the worst thing happens. So I'm riding my bike, and then there's a water bottle on it, and it has like old water and stuff like that. I hit a big bump, everything just comes out. So I had no hydration. Mile 30, I'm like desperate now, and my legs are cramping up. And it's like, we got another 28 miles to go, or 26 miles to go, and I had to do a half marathon, right? And so, I kid you not, I saw a bottle of Gabe, someone else dropped it. I was like, this must be a sign from God, right? So I get on my bike, and my whole body goes into cramp. I'm just like having like basically a seizure in the middle of the ground. Ambulance came as well. I was gonna DNF it, but somehow some miracle happened where the EMT got out. Big burly guy was like, it's all now going to hypothermia. So he's like hugging me and like, okay, we're gonna be okay, man. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And what ends up happening is I sit out for a little bit, and I regain myself finally. Finished the race, but I finished on 8 hours, which was horrible. I don't even know how I got through it, but I have not done one since then. So I have to redeem myself now. Hearing your story, you inspire me. I can't let it end right there, man. So I get up there like a half, hopefully by next year, a half Ironman. Okay. Just so I can say that I did it and I was successful at it. If I just make it through, I think it'll be okay.
Maybe hope for a little bit warmer weather.
Yeah, exactly. No nor'easter, nothing like that.
Right.
So let's go back into your life right now. So you've got a job where you're doing some real job stuff, like work stuff.
Right.
And now you're trying to carve out time to be able to do your own running. Mm-hmm. Now you have coaching clients and you're married kids. How are you making that all work?
Time management. It's something I learned a long time ago. So I usually get my running in. I get up at like 5 in the morning. Yeah. And knock out running. So before everybody's up, I'm out running.
Yeah.
And by the time I get back, it's almost time to wake up the little one for school. So I wake him up. I go shower, warm shower, and he eats. Yeah. And then when I finish shower, I take him to school. Yeah. Work. Then get off of work. If I'm doing Fleet Feet that evening, I leave from work, go to Fleet Feet. Yeah. Go there for an hour and a half. Come home, eat, sleep, repeat.
Just like this whole rhythm, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. And so now, as you're training your clients, stuff like that, TK, what would you say are there common areas or gaps in people's training that you find that, hey, I notice a lot of runners just don't do this thing when they train for half marathons or marathons. What might be those things?
Probably the most important thing I think that some runners do that they probably shouldn't do is train too fast. Yeah, running at conversation pace. Mm-hmm. All your training runs should be at an easy pace, except for your speed days.
80-20.
Yeah, it's always should be easy. So a lot of people go out and they'll run those too fast. Yeah. And what they're doing is they're putting that wear and tear on their legs.
Good time.
So by the time you get to race day, your risk of burning out is higher. Not to mention if you're training faster than you should be training, the risk of injuring yourself during training is higher. So that is the main thing I think is just learning to run slower during your training runs and know that you'll be okay.
Yes. Trusting the training, right?
Trust the training, trust the process, know that you'll be okay on race day, you're ready to go at it. But yeah, main thing. Definitely,
that's awesome.
Definitely running slower during training, yes.
One of the things that we find also in our runners, and I talked about this with another running coach, Brendan Liming, on last week actually, talking about how what I find is that not only are runners they're not doing 820, so they're maybe 80% of the runs are actually fast. So they're coming with injuries that are preventable, number one. Number two, they're not doing a lot of strength training. And so they especially as older athletes, I think for me, now I'm going to be 50 soon, is the strength actually provides that base of support and provides you with that protection on your body as you put the wear and tear from running on there. And so I don't think that runners value that enough at times. And it's often that, oh, I'll get to it, or when I have time, I'll do it. Instead of like, hey, I need to do this as part of my training. How do you basically get your clients to see the value of doing strength training, stuff like that?
I usually tell them, since I'm not a personal trainer, I can't tell them what to do, but I usually give them exercises that I do myself.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
As examples, so I use a program, then I send them workouts, and in those programs I'm able to throw in like strength exercises on their days.
Yeah.
So they know what days they're running, and then their strength days, I'm like, okay, pick 3 of these and do maybe 3 sets of 10 of this, and this, just so they know that that's important as well.
Yeah.
I want to build up those muscles. Also, it's good for preventing injuries.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
everybody I work with are usually good about following the plan. So I know if I put it in there, then they'll do it.
Yeah.
And then it also reports back to me, so I know if they don't.
That's right.
If I need to get on, I can, but usually everybody's good about doing it because they know I'm watching.
Definitely, yeah. What are some of the most common injuries that you see happen to some of your half marathoners or marathoners?
Common injuries, maybe calf pulls, maybe.
Yeah, Achilles, calf, kind of
Achilles,
thing.
calf.
Plantar fascia.
Plantar fascia is another one. Usually leg injuries.
Yeah.
I did have one runner that had a hip injury.
Yeah.
Well, we found out it was due to her gait, so we had to get her checked out, get her analysis, because she was basically overcompensating on one side, which was causing an issue with the hip.
Definitely.
Typically, it's calf area, foot area, most of the time.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well, and I think the end issue, of course. And I'm glad you touched on running form. I find that probably more than 70-80% of the runners that we see who come in, whether they're doing half marathons or ultra runners, it is running gait as an issue. And so once we correct their form and we show them a couple things on how to do the drill work that will help correct those different gait deviations, they seem to do much better.
Right.
And so the rehab process goes really fast. The problem that I have is that we get a lot of runners from other PT practices where they don't do gait analysis or they only do one indoors. But TK, for you and I would say that you might agree that I rarely am on the treadmill.
Right.
And we have one right here. It's not even the thing I do, especially in North Carolina where you can run most of the year round. So when the PTs do a gait analysis on the treadmill, I don't think that gets them all the right information. We always take them outside and see how they run in their natural environment to see what clues you could discover that might put them in the right direction as far as, hey, work on these 3 things because this is how you actually run.
Right. Absolutely. I totally agree. Outside is, I have a treadmill that I have had to use a little more than usual the past 6 or 7 months just because of day job. But my choice is always outside first, if I can.
That's awesome. Now, as far as as the training plans for some of your runners when they're training for these half marathons or marathons, what are some of what's probably the most important thing that you try to think about for your runners when you design programs for them?
I usually have a race at a time, so I'll usually check the race out, look at kind of like the terrain, elevation, because you want to have them training on something as close to what they'll be racing on as possible.
I love that, yeah.
So if they're going to have hills, it's going to be a lot of hills. Even then, it's going to be a flat course. I'm still training on hills because it still get strong on the hills.
Yeah.
That's what makes me even faster on the cycle land. So usually can't escape hills, but usually the terrain and elevation of the race is usually a big clue that I'll kind of take into account when I'm doing a training plan and kind of tell them where to run.
Yeah. Now, as far as footwear and stuff like that, TK, what are your thoughts on footwear, on heel drop, on whether minimal shoes? What have been some of your recommendations to some of your clients?
I'm more of a neutral runner. I'm running shoe, but I do tell them, everybody that I work with that asks about shoes, I'll send them to Fleet Feet. Hey, let them check you out and tell you what type of shoe that you need versus me recommending a type of shoe that may not work for your foot, because everybody's foot is different.
100% different.
So to be completely positive about what you need, I will go there first, and after they give you few options. Then you could ask me, hey, out of these, which one do you like better?
Yeah.
And then I can kind of guide you there. But definitely want them to have a gait analysis done and have someone professional tell them what type of shoe they need for their foot before I recommend a type of shoe.
Yeah. One of the things that I have a concern about sometimes is that the shoes that they make for long distance running, they're often really cushioned.
Mm-hmm.
And so that actually leads to a lot more impact through the entire chain, lower extremity, basically from the foot all the way up to the hip and low back. And so what we try to do with our runners is when they come in for physio, what we have them do is just take their shoes off. And what I have found, and this is like, we have some very elite runners come in, and when I ask them to stand on one foot, they can't do it. They're just like, oh my God. And you see it too when we warm up, right? At the beginning, you see it. They're like, oh my God, I can't do it. But they'll definitely run faster than I can. So it's been very interesting. And so I made it a point where anytime they come in, I'm going to get the shoes off, get them to feel the ground again, and practice all of the exercises we have them do at home, so they can get restoration back into that mechanism where they can sense the ground and stuff like that.
Right.
And so I'm not sure if you have your athletes do any kind of like barefoot work at home or anything like that, but that's something that I found to be very important for them.
I have it. Might be something I need to incorporate in
Yeah.
barefoot.
That's right. Yeah, it's crazy. And I also want to ask you, as far as the nutrition goes, I think fueling has always been a question for a lot of runners.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you try to, and I know everyone's different too, is there sort of like a formula or a recommendation you make for your runners? Hey, listen, every hour, every half hour on the dime, you need you to be taking this amount of gels or whatever it is, especially in the marathons.
Especially with hydration, I usually tell them, do you want to take in at least like 2 ounces of water every 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
You want to be drinking something. The rule of thumb is if you start to feel thirsty, then you're already in the early stages of the dehydration.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of stay on top of it, especially when it's hot. You probably even double that.
Yeah.
But I usually give them two ounces every 10, 15 minutes is a good measure, Steve.
Yeah.
Just to keep you above board. And
Yeah.
stop feeling that dehydration.
Right. How about like gels and stuff? What are your thoughts on that?
Gels, tons of different gels out there.
Whatever
There's
you
so
got, yeah.
many. First thing I always tell them to do, train with them. Train with different types.
Yeah.
Try different types because that gut is different for everybody.
Yeah.
But as far as nutrition, I usually try to say every half marathon, you should probably take in at least two gels.
Mm-hmm.
So every 4 miles, maybe every 5 miles, you want to get something in.
Yeah.
For a full marathon, you're going to double or even a little more than double that.
Depending
You're
on-
just burning calories so fast.
Exactly. Yeah.
Especially with the different weather, just hotter weather, you're going to burn even faster. So,
Yeah.
and once you take out, it's really, really, really hard to get back into the groove.
100%. Yeah.
And sometimes once you start walking, it's hard to start back running.
Been there many times, even last Sunday actually.
But you were running when I saw you, Doc.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if you
As
just
long
started
as-
back. You just started back before you saw me, but when I saw you, you were running.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Now, to your the clients that you work with, do you lie to them too? You lie to us every Tuesday. You're like, oh, it's gonna be an easy one.
It is easy.
It is not easy.
It's you always finish though, right?
That's true. That's true.
You
But I'm always
finish.
crying when I'm doing it. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm here on Tuesday. And this coach is lying to me every Tuesday saying how easy it's going to be. It's never easy.
It's always easy. You always finish. What easy you wouldn't finish, right?
That's true. That's good. You're good.
But no, I try not to lie to them.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me skirt around the truth a little bit. It's not gonna be as hard,
Yeah.
as the one last week.
That's awesome.
But it's gotta be hard to make you stronger though. We don't want anything easy.
Yeah.
You want something easy, you wouldn't come here. You won't be our squad, right?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Now, DK, if people want to work with you, are you more of like a 5K, 10K guy or half marathon, or is it just everyone's just different?
Everyone's different.
Yeah.
I work with 5K up to ultras.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So yeah, I can design something for pretty much everybody.
Oh, that's awesome. And so what's the best way that people can find you? Your website or anything like that? Or
I have Instagram. This is the page on
Oh, nice.
Instagram.
Yes.
TK's Run LLC
Yeah.
on Instagram. They can email me, tk'srunllc@gmail.com. It's usually, but word of mouth is usually how I get most of our clients, believe it or not.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
I've actually had one client that's found me on the RFCA website, but
Yes.
everybody else has been pretty much word of mouth or prior PR squad.
Yeah.
That kind of
Right. Right.
I need your help on the side. Let's do this. So
Oh, I love that.
Cool. So we'll include all your information in the show notes so people can reach you. For anyone looking for a run coach in the local area, in Cary, Raleigh, Triangle, TK's awesome. I have had him work with me and work with a lot of people over at Fleet Feet and PR Squad. He's a fun coach, and knows what he's talking about. A lot of you, but you guys are it's been a pleasure to work with, and I'm looking forward to continuing our relationship over time.
Absolutely been a pleasure, sir.
Thanks so much for tuning into today's episode. It really does mean a lot to us. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, or comment if you got at least one or two helpful insights or takeaways to help you get to your next level.